Mr. Arnold was doing a good job. Senator Markey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Over the last 30 years, Boeing has transformed from a company known for safety excellence to a company with its safety record in shambles. At the same time, the company, which was once working in partnership with its unions, has turned hostile. Boeing resists wage increases, moves production to non-union facilities, makes it harder for union workers to raise safety concerns. Now Boeing refuses to agree to a fair contract with striking machinist workers in Missouri. It makes you wonder how Boeing can ever expect to restore its safety culture when it is working so hard to undermine its own workers. So, Mr. Arnold, do you agree that Boeing's union busting is a threat to aviation safety?
Thank you for your question, Senator. Absolutely, I think it is a threat to aviation safety.
Mr. Arnold, my safety starts at the top act would require Boeing's leaders to consider its workers and safety during every single business decision. My bill would require large aerospace manufacturers to have representation from their labor groups and aviation safety experts on their boards of directors. So I look forward to working with the machinists and my colleagues on this committee to advance this important legislation. Do you think stronger legislation is needed, Mr. Arnold?
Absolutely, Senator. I believe stronger legislation is needed. The firsthand experience of working on the shop floor, I know that our members are not afraid to speak up because they have the protection of a union behind them. They're not going to get beat over the head if they bring up a safety issue or a quality issue.
So thank you. President Turner, I want to ask you about training repayment agreement provisions, or so-called traps. Put simply, a trap is a coercive contract that says if a worker leaves their job before a given time period, they must pay the company for training, equipment, and even for lost profits. So you must stay or you must pay. So let me clearly state these contracts are largely illegal. They can function as illegal non-competes, depressing wages by limiting economic mobility. They scare workers out of exercising their rights under the National Labor Relations Act. They restrict competition with small businesses who cannot hire trapped workers. And when repayment exceeds the total wages that a worker earned, they are minimum wage violations. In some cases, workers find debt collectors banging down their doors for tens of thousands of dollars. Some workers are not even fully aware of these contract terms when they start a new job. They just sign here. You're the newbie. Sign up. Oh, you're signing away all your rights? Well, they're not lawyers. They don't have legal counsel. So these contracts are just so dangerous. Workers need the freedom to leave their job if a workplace is unsafe, if they are being sexually harassed, or if they need to take care of themselves or their family. So traps rob workers of that fundamental dignity. And nearly 1 in 12 workers today in America are subject to a trap. And the number is growing. That's the business plan. Yet the Trump administration has seemingly dropped all enforcement efforts to rein in this dangerous practice. Yet again, Trump is prioritizing corporate profits over American workers. So, President Turner, nurses are often subject to these contracts. Can you tell us what that means for your workers?
So the average nurse in Minnesota comes out of nursing school anywhere from $68,000 to $100,000. Okay, so they got their student loan already. And now we're talking about a system which I believe is kind of a modern day indentured servitude kind of thing going on here, where they have to pay $10,000 to $30,000 to get trained in. Okay, when I started back in the hospital in 1996, I had my experienced nurses on the floor. I was on a neuro floor. They had about 150 years of experience, the 6 of them. That's who trained me in. This is an affront to our whole profession that is designed to have the experienced nurses teach the novice nurses. And we don't charge them $10,000 to $30,000 to do it.
So what's the danger of this? Where are we heading?
Well,
what are you most
like you had said, that so they're forced to stay there, and so then the working conditions, and if they dare to bring up the fact of a union, they're fired, and then they're still responsible for whatever they signed, right? And so it causes our nurses to just be afraid to fight for our patients. And that's a bad thing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.